Barriers to problem solving. In this video, I'll be discussing about barriers to problem solving. As in the last video, we discussed about problem solving. I will give you the link of that video or the video in the end of the description, in the bottom of the description, or you might be able to see the black pop-up on the upwards part of your screen, or else you can also like in the end of the video, you see a pop-up video. In that also I'll give you that. But first, let's watch this new topic which is related to problem solving, but barriers to problem solving. In the video problem solving is saw we saw a line which was saying that hindrances in problem solving, there are barriers in problem solving. So this topic kind of takes it kind of explains it in detail. So barriers in problem solving, and we all experience that whenever we are stuck in the problem and we try to solve it, there are always barriers in our problems. Now this there are this topic is divided into six subtopics. Now let's see the introduction first. Process to problem solving. The process of problem solving requires overcoming obstacles effectively to achieve a goal. However, sometimes this goal attaining behavior is hampered by some obstacles. So the process of problem solving requires overcoming obstacles. So yes, that's the kind of that's something which we already know, that the process of problem solving requires overcoming obstacles. In order to solve problems, you have to overcome obstacles effectively to achieve a goal. Problem to solve the problem is your goal, and there are obstacles which you have to overcome to get to that problem solving goal to solve the problem. However, sometimes this goal attaining behavior is hampered by some obstacles. In this section, we'll talk about those factors that hinder our problem solving ability. Let's see the first one: mental set or perceptual set. Our tendency to use already tried mental strategy is solving in solving a problem is called mental set. So any strategy or mental strategy which you already used in solving a previous problem, it is that tendency of using that already used mental strategy to solve a problem, it is called that tendency is called mental set. Or previous successful experience with that particular strategy to solve the previous problem, we use that successful strategy which mental strategy which actually solved the problem. So that successful strategy or previous successful experience with that particular strategy makes us biased to prefer it every time. So it makes us kind of biased because that strategy worked out last time, so it kind of makes us biased to that strategy. So whenever we are stuck in another problem, we first use that strategy than any other. Thus when we face up with a new problem, we stick to already tried and tested technique. The mental set, and this is something which you have to remember, the mental set is also known as set effect. So now you have to remember these three names: mental set or perceptual set. Now other name is set effect, which you have to remember as well. So this topic is called this topic you can say have three names: mental set, perceptual set, set effect. You can call any one of them. Now functional fixedness, or tendency to see objects in light in the light of its usual or typical function only, thus posing difficulty in solving those problems which require the novel use of the objects. If you were to able to solve the Myers two-string problem, then you can attribute your inability to functional fixedness. Now Myers two-string problem, what is it? We talked about in the last video. So that is the reason why I want you to watch the last video. It is about problem solving. We discussed the topic of problem solving in it. So there we discussed Myers two-string problem. I gave a picture of it in the end of the in the last video as well. So please watch that to see what exactly Myers two-string problem is. Using incomplete representation. How do you process initial information regarding problem also influences your chances to solve a problem successfully. So how do you process initial information regarding problem? So whenever you are faced up with the problem, that initial information you gather regarding the problem, it influences your chances. It influences your chances to solve the problem successfully. An incorrect interpretation would lead to incorrect representation. Yes. So any incorrect interpretation, because it is incorrect interpretation, so that is why it leads to incorrect representation. Why? Because it is incorrect, because it is caused by incorrect interpretation, which in turn lead to false solution. So incorrect interpretation kind of leads to false solution because it is incorrect. Now, lack of expertise or intellect, it means whether you pose the intellectual ability to solve the given problem or not. If you have sufficient expertise only, then you will be able to solve it. Now this is important. If you have sufficient, so this line explains this topic. If you have sufficient expertise only, then you will be able to solve it. Now by name you might have already thought about it: lack of expertise or intellect. So there are a lot of problems which you can't solve because you lack expertise or intellect. For example, if you go to a first standard student and give him, as in the next second point, there's example which I will explain you now. If you go to a first standard student and then you gave him a mathematical problem, a problem from algebra, he won't be able to solve it because he doesn't have that much expertise or that much academic skills to solve it. No, because he does not pose a sufficient intellect. Now let's read out that second point. What do you think, if you give a problem of algebra to a student of the first standard, will he be able to solve it? No, because he does not pose sufficient intellect or expertise to solve it. Simple. Lack of motivation. Even though you possess all the ability to solve a problem, but lack of motivation can hinder your chances to solve it effectively. So yeah, that's right. A lot of things there are. So for example, a scenario where you have complete ability to solve a problem, but because of lack of motivation, because of laziness, or especially lack of motivation, because this topic focuses, the name of this topic is lack of motivation, but because of lack of motivation to solve that problem, your chances to solve it effectively kind of decreases, and maybe you don't even solve it properly. You can't even solve it successfully because you don't have that motivation to solve it. Therefore it is necessary to maintain your motivational level even after facing the failure in the initial trials. That's true. Even though sometimes you just don't have the motivation to solve the problem, but sometimes you have the motivation to solve it, but you kind of fail a few times, and then you feel like you're not able to solve these problems, so your motivation level, it goes down. And then that's where the second point is comes in, and it is saying that it is necessary to maintain your motivational level even after facing the failure in the initial trials which you failed. Now next point, emotional block. Your ability to solve a problem effectively can severely get hampered by your emotional state. Suppose you have stage phobia, then there is a high probability that you will not be able to solve a mathematical problem on your classroom blackboard effectively, because stage phobia leads to stress and anxiety, and those emotions will hamper your performance. So your ability to solve a problem effectively can severely get hampered by your emotional state, and that's true. The example they gave is, if you're, for example, there's a shy person who is good in studies actually, who knows her and all, but he has the stage phobia, or he's very shy, or he has stage phobia, as a lot of introvert people have it. So he has stage phobia, and he's shy as well, and a lot of things. So if whenever a teacher calls him to solve a particular problem, even though if he knows that problem, and even though if he solved it by himself, when he's in front of the class solving it on the blackboard, it becomes very difficult for him to solve, or maybe he is not even able to solve it, because stage phobia leads to stress and anxiety, and these emotions will hamper your performance. This is also part of hindrance or barrier. So these are all things which just discuss are hindrances which we discussed. Those all barriers which we face during problem solving. Now I'll give you some time to take the screenshot. And tomorrow I'll be uploading a new video, so please, as I always say, you subscribe to the channel, and on the bell icon, so you will not miss out tomorrow's video. And also on the bell icon, so you stay notified. The reason why I say on the bell icon, because you can stay notified when I'll upload video tomorrow. So I will see you tomorrow in the next video. Until then, if you want to leave a like, you can leave a like.